Now that you have practiced the vocabulary, let's begin reading chapter 5. As I mentioned last week, there is a new feature. Notice at the start of this Zaption, there is a discussion window. So anytime you have a question or a comment about anything you've read, you can return back to this point in the video and enter it in the discussion window. Now remember, once you submit any questions, you don't need to submit them again. So you can then skip back forward and return to where you left off. Okay? So once again, if you have any questions or comments, just put them in the discussion window that you see on the right. Let us begin reading the chapter now. Pompeii and Everyday Life in Ancient Rome. During the times of Julius and Augustus Caesar, the city of Pompeii was a major resort city. Many people loved to visit Pompeii, especially in the summer. It was located on the water, so it was a great location for trading and farming, especially of grapes and olive trees. Pompeii was a lot like other Roman cities. There was a forum on one side of the city. The forum was where much of the business of Pompeii took place. There were also temples to the gods near the forum. Water was carried to the city for use in the public baths, fountains, and some homes. The people of Pompeii enjoyed entertainment. They had a large amphitheater that around 20,000 people could go to for watching gladiator games. In gladiator games, men called gladiators fought against each other or against wild animals. Pompeii also had a lot of theaters that people could go to for plays, religious celebrations, and musical concerts. But in 79 AD, everything changed. Pompeii was struck by a disaster when a nearby volcano, Mount Vesuvius, erupted. Scientists estimate that 1.5 million tons of ash and rock shot out of the volcano every second. The ash cloud rose 10 to 20 miles high. While some people were able to escape, many people did not. Over 10,000 people died. After the eruption of Mount Vesuvius, the city of Pompeii was completely destroyed. It was buried under 10 feet of debris, and people eventually forgot about it. It wasn't discovered again until almost 1,700 years later. Archaeologists found something amazing when they began to uncover the city. Much of Pompeii had been preserved by the debris. This means that buildings, paintings, houses, and workshops that would have been worn out, lost, or destroyed over time instead remained as they were. Archaeologists even found petrified bread still in the ovens that had been baking the day that the volcano erupted. As a result, much of what we know about everyday life in ancient Rome comes from finding the preserved remains of Pompeii. Roads, bridges, and aqueducts. The people of ancient Rome were excellent engineers and builders. Many of the things that they built are still around today. An example of something very important that the Romans built was a network of roads. The Romans built over 250,000 miles of roads, including 29 highways that lead to the city of Rome. The roads helped the Romans to rule over the lands that they conquered. They also helped soldiers to travel over land to defend the Roman Empire. Roads allowed people to travel over greater distances more easily and quickly. This was important for officials, governors, tax collectors, messengers, and merchants who had to travel often for their work. Bridges were another example of an important thing that the Romans built. Since you cannot walk around a river, bridges allowed people to cross over them. It is estimated that the Romans built around 900 bridges in their empire. They used stone and concrete to build their bridges, and used the arch as the basic architectural feature to make them strong. The largest Roman bridge, the Trajan Bridge, was over 3,700 feet long and 62 feet high. Aqueducts were yet another example of something that the Romans built. Aqueducts were long channels that carried water into the cities. Many of them were below ground. The water that was carried into the cities was used for drinking water, baths, and sewers. It was usually carried to a public fountain where people could get their water with buckets. All the aqueducts in the city of Rome together totaled around 500 miles in length.